What's happening, Sales Ascender? I'm curious if you've ever been in a sales conversation where the body language in a Zoom meeting, or maybe if you're face to face, is going crazy and you're like, what does that even mean? Well, in this video, I'm starting a body language series in sales. I'm going to start with the head. We're going to work through the entire body. So stick with me over the coming days here. This is going to be a great little series for everybody. And we're going to start with one of my favorites. Stay tuned. Happy Wednesday! Happy hump day, Sales Ascender. I hope you're doing really well. I'm excited to be here with you today. Sean back at you with another high ticket tune-up. That's what we do. Today, I got a great question. This pertains to visually looking and watching body language. We're going to dive deep into body language over the next coming days and maybe even weeks. I've been studying this for a very long time. I've spoken with a bunch of hostage negotiators and experts in the field when it comes to body language and conversation, persuasion, and some of these other things. And so I'm going to share all of the goods that I got. Today, we're going to start with what we call head adornment, right? So head adornment, let's talk about wearing hats and apparel. What does it even mean, right? And so the question that actually came out, and I'll just pop back and I'll share the question that I got. Question came in from Ralph. Ralph said this, he says, Sean, what does it mean when someone wears a do-rag on their head when they showed up for a meeting with me? So obviously this isn't a do-rag, but you can get the point, right? So it's Ralph reached out to me and he's like, dude, this guy showed up in a do-rag. I have no idea what this means. Yeah, I thought he was like a gang member, this or the next thing. I was like, okay, well, hang on, calm down. Let's go through the different pieces of what head adornment can actually mean in a sales setting, right? So I just put a picture here of a big hat, right? This hat usually represents something around Kentucky Derby style. This is the type of hat a woman would wear when they would go to the Kentucky Derby, right? So just as a reference point, this is what we're talking about. So when somebody wears a hat or some piece of head adornment, whether it's a feathers for like a chief of Indians or a do-rag or just a baseball cap or something, there's about 6 different things that it could mean, right? And so the first thing is where they fit in society. Who do they relate with? What teams are they a part of? Are they part of a clique? Where are they going? And so very quickly we can determine where they fit based on our socioeconomic status of saying, okay, well, if somebody's wearing a baseball cap, that means they're probably athletic. If somebody's wearing a big hat like this, it means they're probably into maybe horse racing or something like this. So we can grab some insight on the type of hat wear that people are wearing. So it's very important to look at this kind of thing. The second thing is allegiances. Now, this could play into a do-rag in a certain scenario. We all have seen the shows on Netflix about prison and like the gangs and how they have call signs and different things. Well, we know the Bloods and the Crips as an example. They wear blue and red, depending on, I guess Bloods are red and Crips are blue. But this is an allegiance. So if you are walking in a dark alley where you probably shouldn't be and you see somebody hanging out a blue bandana or a red bandana, like it might not be a good move to go that direction unless you're part of that allegiance or that thing. So good to keep that in awareness. The number 3 thing that hats can mean is social status. Right? If you're seeing somebody wearing like a top hat with a cigar in their mouth, it might mean they try or perceive themselves as super high class, where if it's just a raggedy old baseball cap, maybe it means, it's not super important for them to look nice or something like this. It's just kind of an average meeting that they're having with you. And so social status, again, is another piece of where the head adornment or wearing a hat could actually bring it in. Number 4 is beliefs, right? And this one's going to be more tribal. So if we're going to say out of the country, for an example, and we go into some village in, for example, like Africa or something like that, or even an Indian tribe, well, you're going to see the big headdress. This big headdress typically means like either a social status where they rank or the belief set that they have that this head adornment is actually going to keep them safe and protect them. How does this play into sales? Well, if you know that somebody has a social status within an allegiance or maybe a set of beliefs, it's going to be really valuable to ask about this. The head adornment thing is really valuable for a little bit of the bonding and the connecting part. Again, that's the first step of our selling method. And so typically if I see somebody wearing a cool hat, I'll always ask about it. Hey, what does that mean to you? Why are you wearing that type of hat? And instantly they will tell you what it means. And what happens is subconsciously they're like, oh, this person's talking about me and asking stuff in my world. That's powerful. So again, if you see some different hat or something that somebody's wearing on their head, this is the first 4 things. Number 5, self-perception. People might believe, like, for example, let's go to baseball caps. Those are probably the most obvious ones, and people wear those most often, and I would think, especially in North America. Self-perception. They perceive themselves to be part of an organization or part of, a status or something like this. And so if they have a specific team that has an image in society, that's why they might be repping the particular team or event or something like this. So self-perception of, hey, I relate, I perceive myself as part of this tribe or this culture or this movement. That's another reason why hats are worn, and head adornment means this. And then the last thing is just the degree to which they defy convention. Sometimes, do-rag example, they want to just defy convention. It's because they don't care. They needed to have something on their head just because they wanted to wear something on their head. Maybe they had a loss of hair that they wanted to cover up, or they just wanted to defy convention. And so when you find somebody that's wearing some type of head adornment, it makes a lot of sense in sales for you to sit there and just take a minute right when you first get on the call and use the thing that they're wearing as the piece that you bond and connect with them through for your conversation, right? It's going to give you a tremendous amount of insight into how to act later in the call. It's going to give you the tools and the tips that you can actually go research things. A lot of times someone will say, or be wearing some sort of a hat. I'd be like, oh, that's amazing. And I'd be really interested in something like that. And then I would go do research and figure out, like, oh my gosh, that's actually a really cool thing. And then when you come back for the second time, and even if they're not wearing the head adornment the second time, if you've taken note and gone down and did a little bit of research, it takes less than 5 minutes to figure out teams and hats and what they mean to some people, and be like, hey, I did some research on that. I was really interested in it. You were wearing this do-rag this last time. And I know we talked about it a little bit, but I thought, does it mean this to you? And all of a sudden you're in their world again, and you have massive rapport, and you'll be able to hold it forever. When we're talking about this kind of stuff, it's very, very critical for you to just kind of go through and listen and learn a little bit more about this. But that's really what it comes down to, is just look at the headpiece that they're wearing, go through and just try to identify, talk about it, because it bring it up. Be the person who's a sales professional and be like, hey, that's a cool hat. I would like to learn more about it. And that, my friends, is the lesson for today. You've just been tuned up. Make sure and talk about the head adornment. That stuff's really powerful, valuable, and I love you, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on all those notifications, hit the bells, make the icons come on. This series is going to be fire, guys. We're going to get into eyes, eyebrows, nose, mouth, teeth, everything, starting with hat wears.